Donna. Welcome to the show. We have made it. It's Friday. It's Friday, October 11th. I cannot tell you how needed today, Friday, is. Now, Friday today, this week, it's a big deal in the Jewish community, you guys. It's Yom Kippur. That starts sundown tonight. So those of you that are fasting, I hope you have an easy fast. And those of you that are not, I don't fast personally. I'll try maybe. I'll try. But I have a low blood sugar issue. So I kind of try to stay away from that. But anyway, I digress. We have quite the show for you today. But before we get into introducing my guest, I just want to give you guys a heads up. Yesterday, I spoke a lot about some of my hurricane dosers, and I was really worried and I wasn't sleeping and stressed out. Billy is okay. Everyone, Billy finally responded, and she put herself in the Facebook group and she said, I'm okay. I have no power. So everyone can breathe. We're fine. We're good. All our dosers are accounted for. And those of you that are still struggling with power outages and flooding and all kinds of damages, our hearts are with you over there on the East Coast. Vicente showed up just for today, just for you guys. It's Friday. Vicente's here. He says hi. He says, hola, dosers. So we are going to get into the show in just a moment. Everyone, this is going to be so fun. Get cozy in the comments. This is Daily Dose of Donna. I have a guest today that you are going to love. So many of you heard me on his podcast last week or 2 weeks ago now talking about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I have the most incredible podcast host of Fixing Famous People and a reality TV producer, Chris DeRosa. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
I am so happy to have you. Are you joking? We laughed our asses off when we were.
What an episode that we recorded about Blake Lively featuring Justin Baldoni.
I mean, Justin really was a side note.
No, you have to come back soon because people were like, oh, this was a good. And even like, when you get, I know this is I'm already getting too inside baseball. When you get with someone, you're like, I don't know who this person is. Let's see it. Like, what's going to happen. And then as soon as you got on the Zoom with us, we were like, oh, okay, she's one of us. Like, we can, we're good to go. Let's do this and like knock it out of the park.
There's certain things that I know well. And one of them is talking crap about Blake Lively. I mean, that is one of those things.
Oh, now, you came with like, here's this family member. Here's this family member. Like we did it.
I do have her genealogy reports in my back pocket, actually. So here's her 23andMe. So tell everyone just really quickly before we get into all the stories, because we have so much to talk about. Your podcast, Fixing Famous People, that you co-host with Dominic. You guys are, does he do every episode with you? Uh-oh. Are we freezing? Is that just me, you guys? Oh, Chris, you froze.
Oh, I'm back. I'm here. I'm closing all my tabs. Here I go.
Close
Sorry.
The tabs, dude.
The tabs are closing. Okay, I'm back.
He's visiting his sister in Virginia, so let's blame it on the sister's house and her internet. So tell me, Chris, you do this podcast every single week, the Fixing Famous People podcast?
Every single week. Basically, my co-host Dominic and I, we are both reality television producers. Dominic did like season 2 of Real Housewives of New York. Okay, like we're talking like throwback.
We're talking Simon and Alex.
Yeah, we're talking Simon and Alex. We're talking Luann. We're talking Luann married to the Count is what we're talking.
My God, this was when she came out with the book.
Yes, Class with the Countess. Like we're talking like pre-Skinny Girl Bethany. You know what I mean? Like this is like so. He did like season 2 of New York. I did season 7 and 8, 11 and 12 of New York. I just recently did all of New Jersey. And so we are both very similar, but 20 years apart. But we basically take a celebrity client every week and we fix them in the sense of we talk about their career. We talk about all the PR hot water that they're in. And then at the end of the show, Dominic and I will both pitch an idea of what they should do to get like back in the good graces of society.
Yeah.
And then you as the guest will pick the winner. And that's what happens every single week. And our episode together with you is like top tier. Like, it's going to get nominated for a VIIA award at the end of the year. Is all I'm going to say.
What do I wear?
You might have to give a speech. You might be like coming on stage to give a speech to get an award. So,
well, I know what I'm going to wear. It's going to be florals in honor of Blake Lively and her
wear your
wardrobe.
florals. Wear your florals. Yes.
Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about today because specifically the reason why Blake Lively kind of like bings up for me or ding ding, because have you noticed lately Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are in pictures, like paparazzi photos, almost daily, just holding hands and walking the streets of New York matching.
Yeah.
Now, usually that happens when we're trying to like cover something up. As there's a PR woman. Do you follow Molly McPherson on?
I don't, but
She's
I feel like
phenomenal, and she always says distraction. These PR, the PR moves for anyone that's a kind of embroiled in hot mess. Love distraction, and so why I bring that up because we have to talk about someone who is heavily into distraction right now, and their names are Ashton and Mila.
Oh God, yeah.
Now we haven't pre-gamed. We have
yeah.
You, as far as I know, you could love Ashton.
I could be like, he's my favorite celebrity ever.
You could think he's the best actor in history. So I need to know, what are your thoughts on the Ashton and Mila, especially with the Diddy and Danny Masterson of it all? Oh no, Chris. Okay, I'm going to talk over him until he gets back. Poor Chris has some internet issues. It's all good. Well, I'm going to tell you guys the story while Chris is just See, this is what happens. Blame it on Diddy. You start to talk to Chris and he just goes,
oh God, here I am. Sorry. Okay.
How sweaty are you getting?
No, I'm like, she's not going to kill me. I'm like, I'm going to be murdered tomorrow. But
you're lucky I can speak a lot. So I'll just talk over you.
I think that like, the Danny Masterson of it all like ruined. I don't think there's ever any coming back from this.
No, Ashton's done. I'm throwing the book.
Like it's done. Like it's like gone, baby, gone is what they are. I'm thinking maybe we could get some like Mila doing a movie randomly and it like being okay, and we're like okay with her. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I think she could somehow do one thing and be okay with it, but like, as far as I'm concerned, like he can never act in anything ever again.
Well, I believe he will. And he already just got hired by, of all people, Ryan Murphy.
What a surprise, by the way.
Right.
Don't even get me started on him.
Oh, have you ever fixed Ryan Murphy?
Yes, we did. And it needs to happen again already, basically.
Yeah, it's a lot. I couldn't get through Monsters.
The Menendez thing is like, have you watched the like, not the Monsters Menendez brothers like series, but the documentary that they came out with?
I just watched that.
I just watched it yesterday, and when I tell you, I'm like on the picket line, like ready to like free them out of jail.
So my husband was like, no, he didn't really know a lot of the story, and I kept telling him to watch it, and he's like, it feels too dark for me. And
well, he said, correct. Yes, he's right.
Yeah. He goes, they killed their parents. How can I ever look at them? And I said, Lance, he made them, and I gave a lot of information. If what they're saying is true,
yeah,
basically all of the allegations that they have against their deceased father, my husband immediately, like, I didn't even finish my sentence, and he's like, get them out of jail. Like, yeah, you're allowed. They've done it. Okay, fine.
When
we're good.
That prosecutor, I'm sharpening my Britney Spears dancing knives for that prosecutor. Like, I'm like not into her. When she was like, all of this was fabricated, and she had zero proof that it was fabricated.
She was a bee.
I hated her.
In that documentary, yeah. So if we're talking about the documentary on Netflix that came out just the beginning of this week, she actually sat there and she's like, when they came out with that, I was like, oh shit. Like,
and then she's like, oh, there was this like therapist that they went to that was like I don't know how
are we saying
explicit.
RAP, that word?
Yes.
So I was told that you have to say the word grapist.
He was a grapist. And she was like, I was begging the like board of psychology to not take away his license until after the trial so I could use him in the trial. I'm like, ma'am, you are a fucking
you are a piece of trash. No, she's awful, awful, awful.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, the psychiatrist story is pretty crazy, and we can't get into the Menendez
No,
story.
it's
We
too
don't
much.
have
It's
the
too much.
time.
I'll come back. I'll come back
There's
with better
2
internet for that.
Yeah, we need really good internet for the Menendez day. Actually, a psychiatrist. Oh, I don't want to get into it so much because we don't have time. But there's a psychiatrist that one of my like all my friends go to the psychiatrist here in Los Angeles, and he's a very well known like L.A. Beverly Hills psychiatrist, and he was on TMZ today because he's suing Dr. Dre for threatening him, and Dr. Dre is saying, well, you alienated because of you. My son is not talking to me anymore. So, like, this father son psychiatrist relationship is a little bit of an interesting dynamic. I never thought about it.
The whole thing is really tough. The whole thing,
Very.
it's so tough. The whole thing. I mean, we can't get into it. It's too much.
Speaking of tough, Ashton and Mila, the reason why I want to talk about this is they have these articles that keep popping up in the last week. And notice we never really saw Ashton and Mila together since that Danny Masterson insane apology video. Remember that they had that like ridiculous video where they were like, we should have never done that, you know, when they looked like
it was in like a
like a storage shed.
It was like it looked like they were in like a sauna, like a makeshift sauna. It was so weird.
And Mila, literally between takes, she like was beating Ashton over the head with a frying pan. She was so angry. It was such a bad video, but they are all over the news in the last week or two. Pictured together, right? Ever since P. Diddy went to jail, there's all this stuff about like Ashton and Mila go to the SoFi game together. Ashton and Mila take their kids to dance class. Ashton and Mila. And yesterday, I almost threw up when I saw this article on Daily Mail, which says Daily Mail is, by the way, it's like, I understand that it's totally not accurate in all ways, but for some reason, it's like I check Instagram, TikTok, and Daily Mail every day. Like, why?
No, it's like they could put like anything on there, and it's like so obviously a lie, and yet you're still like,
I'm like, but it happened. It says Mila Kunis reveals the secret behind her successful marriage to Ashton Kutcher. I asked my audience yesterday what the secret was. I said wrong answers only on Instagram. I got some really good ones. People said baby oil. People said Diddy's key. People said the address of Epstein's secret island or private island. Like everyone had great ideas. Yeah. Do you know what their secret is, quote unquote, to their happy marriage?
I'm bracing for impact.
Well, I mean, give us a guess.
A lot of sex. Don't tell me it's sex.
If it was, I would fall over. But it said, I still feel like we're young and we feel very young. I think that's where the spark is. How much do you want to step on them and smush? We laugh at everything she says. Everything's so funny right now.
I know. It's just like, it's so fun. Well, the sad part is like if this was like an Oprah interview, like their answer would be very different. But this is like for the Daily Mail, so it's like
this was like an Entertainment Tonight article that the Daily Mail pulled. Yes, we laugh all the time, and then of course there's like 2 more articles yesterday. One of them, they struggle with their parking meter going out to dinner, and this and this and that. So I personally, I loved Ashton and Mila in the past. I thought they were so cute.
Sure.
And Mila Kunis, like forgetting Sarah Marshall. Are you joking?
Yeah. No, incredible.
Beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. But ever since the whole Danny Masterson and now Diddy stuff, it really does make you say red flag. And I did get some insider information. So I'm going to let you guys know that I got information from, living in LA. Everyone knows everyone. And I got a text from someone who said, I don't know if this is public or not, but she moved out with the kids and is living at her friend's house, I believe in, and I'm not going to say the exact city, but it's not where they live. It's like in the valley, but not exactly. And I said, I heard that as a rumor too. Like, how do you really know? And she goes, well, the girl who told me is close to the woman who's housing them. It's apparently 100% fact. And it's all because of Diddy. So allegedly, Mila Kunis has moved out with the kids, which kind of surprised me because I'm like, I feel like he should have moved out. Leave those kids.
But I think like legally on paper, again, I have no idea what I'm fucking talking about, but like legally on paper, it's like she's like, I ran away. As soon as I realized this, I like got my family out of here. Like it's really, I feel like actions that you then can defend later in court rather than like I was running away in the night. Like it was The Handmaid's Tale versus like, I kicked him out of the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's maybe like a Brittany Cartwright, Jax Taylor situation.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so I just think this is all connected. It's so bad. And I'm very much in the web of like
No, of
dark
course. No, we're in.
secrets
Yeah,
and all
no,
of
it's
that.
all, I mean, I said this on our podcast last week. Like this is the Coliseum and we have like had, again, like we're like ready to carve the turkey again with our Britney Spears dancing knives. I'm ready to like carve up the turkey. And we didn't get that when Jeffrey Epstein was going down. We didn't get like we thought we were getting like the Clintons, the Trumps, the this, the that. Like we thought we were getting like everyone's going down in a blaze of glory with him. And that's just not what happened. And even when Ghislaine went away, it was like, then went away and no one talked about it again. And now it's like, so we're already hungry from that. And now it's like, we're the Romans at the Colosseum being like, die. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
It's horrible, but it's true.
100%. And what Wanda says is actually really interesting in the comments, because I always think this is really, it's insensitive after everything that she knows that she's connected to with the Danny Masterson and how many victims are out there, and the fact that her husband was very, very close with Diddy during these times, etc. And given the fact that like half the country is struggling and there's a potential world war and an election year, like we just laugh all the time. I'm sorry. It makes me want to die. Like, how
celebrities, there's a power. I will make this brief, but it's important. There is a power that reality stars have that A-list celebrities will never, ever, ever be able to harness, and that is being relatable. Ooh. Reality stars, even if they're the richest reality star in the world, you watch them unload their dishwasher, and that's what I've always said has been the most powerful thing about the Real Housewives is that we know what their underwear drawer looks like. Totally. And like, even when you do an architectural digest or like a Vogue, like go through my house thing, like that it's still a setup, contrived, like has the beats that you have to hit on the way. Whereas like when you walk into, when you're filming a scene for Real Housewives and like you're just there and they're like taking their trash out and the garbage can just breaks apart and like garbage goes everywhere and you have to watch them clean it up and it's funny. Yeah. Like, we never see an A-list celebrity do anything like that.
Yeah. And if they do, it's like all for show. It's not because.
And we didn't catch them with their pants down. Do you know what I mean? No pun intended. But like that, to me, like these A-list celebrities try to do those things, and it's like we laugh like we're just always laughing. It's like, yeah, because you like don't take anything seriously because nothing touches you because you're an A-list celebrity. Yeah.
It's giving Katy Perry going down on her husband when he unloads the dishwasher.
Yes. Don't even bring her up with me.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay. On to the next. We're just gonna go a little quick hits on this one, okay?
Okay.
How do you feel about Love Is Blind this season?
Incredible season. I think we're like back.
I want to die.
Everyone is a monster, and I love seeing it.
Tell me again.
Oh, I disagree with you completely.
Tell me.
Oh, I think it's fun. I'm loving the ride I'm on. Do I think any of them, after these last episodes, do I think any of them are making it to the altar? No. But like, I'm enjoying the twists and the turns. You don't like it?
I have never felt a cast was more unlikable than this cast. Like, there's not one person I'm rooting for. Other than Taylor and Garrett. No. What's her name? Taylor and Garrett. Yeah.
Taylor and Garrett. I'm fine, but this is the thing. I don't want to be rooting for everyone.
You don't want what?
I don't want to be rooting for everyone. There's times when I want to just watch the situation unfold as it will.
I feel that maybe it's like the DC thing, but none of those men are people I want to be with. Not one man in the pods that we got to see. Which one are you dating, Chris?
No, I'm thinking now.
Is it Tyler with his 3 kids?
No, that was like, I've been in like speak your word, scroll hole. I've been in a scroll hole. Like with every TikTok of like Tyler's, whatever that was. Did you see that it was like possibly a surrogate that he then was having a real relationship with and all that? Like that, again, this could be some random person coming out of nowhere and just making this all up. I watched that whole clip yesterday
there's this one TikToker who's doing the investigative journalism. Like 2020, goodbye. We don't need you anymore. It is over. TikTok journalism is where it's at. And so she has like discovered all of the documents and everything. And apparently Tyler was the sperm donor for these kids. But what's weird about it is that he made it sound, as far as we know on episode, in the episodes that we've seen so far, he made it sound very much like a throwaway, like, yeah, I just went to a sperm bank and like donated sperm, but goodbye. He has pictures with matching with them for Christmas.
It's like he was their father.
He's their dad.
Because I was like, it's not that big. Like, I get it, but I was like, it's not that big of a deal. And then like my friend was like, no, look at these photos of them like as a family. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad.
It's really bad. So I did see a TikTok this morning. I have no idea how he's allowed to do this, but I guess some of these Love is Blind people are allowed to do podcasts. I didn't think that they were, but this
or they're just doing it.
Or they just say F
they
it.
just go rogue and
because they know that they're like so screwed with the public. So check this out. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I'm gonna hold on. Let me just pull it up and make sure that we're all set. Someone is talking to Tyler. This is, of course, the what's it called? The guy that has the 3 kids and he's with Ashley. He's the one that presented as like this perfect man.
They were my couple that I was like, they're gonna make it no matter what. They're gonna make it. Like, there's not even a like the fact if they even try to pull any like BS where they're like pretending like they're not gonna get married, like I'm not gonna have it because like they're obviously more perfect for each other.
I mean, they prayed before they brushed their teeth. It was like a little bit over the top, but whatever. I was like, that's what they're into.
Sure. Who am like whatever. Like that just because I'm not doing. And again, like just because I don't want to date any of these people doesn't mean I don't want to watch it. I guess that's where we're differing. I'm like into watching them navigate the situation. I don't need anyone to be like the good one that I really like. Although I think Garrett is the hottest one.
They're all boring to me.
No, sure.
They all like fine, Tyler and Garrett. Okay, cool. But like but they're so perfect so like there's no drama. So it's boring. Like I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit. Okay, let's watch this. This is Tyler answering about the 3 kids and did he disclose? I'm kind of surprised by this.
Tyler, you already know
I'm nervous.
So I need to know, I want to know, did you disclose on your application, about the kids that you had?
No, on the application, it's not disclosed on there.
Okay, so what was your thought process of the timing that you took to actually let her know, about the kids?
Yeah, so there was no set time frame. I think, there was never going to be a right time to let Ashley know. It was hard to figure that out and navigate. I just didn't want to talk about it on camera. So when the time came, I brought it up off camera. It was her request to talk about it on camera. And I was okay with that.
You should just have that conversation a little bit sooner.
100%. No, listen, I am not disagreeing at all. For me, in my mind, I was like, there's never going to be a right time.
I was like, honey, I was rooting for you. I was like, not him.
Okay. Not him.
I love that. Love that woman.
Yeah, she's my favorite. I feel like you go on a show. He says, I didn't disclose it.
No.
My question is, do they not ask you point blank, are you a dad?
But not even that. It has the disclosure of it is not what you go on the show, you know that the mother of your children who you have like allegedly, I don't know any whatever, but like in theory, what they're saying is that like he basically like abandoned these children. Like 100% she's going to go on TikTok and say that you have 3 kids, even if it's now when the show comes out. Like you're never escaping this. So
why does a person think that your past just goes away when you erase a picture on Instagram?
And like, P.S., what's a really humanizing thing is him being like, I had 3 kids and I could not be there for them. And it's like the shame of my life.
Right.
That to me is interesting. That to me is thought provoking. That to me is like, wow, you always hear like, oh, there's all these deadbeat dads or these like fathers that have left. Hearing their perspective of like, this is the most shameful thing I've ever done. And it's the most embarrassing thing. And I can't believe I'm admitting this to you. That's a scene.
But is he a deadbeat dad? And did he or does he love these kids? That's what's so confusing. He says to Ashley, I spent Christmas alone. He was not alone.
But I think he was alone.
There's pictures of him at Christmas with these kids.
No. Oh,
In that
no.
reel that she posted, his ex or the mom. Like,
But
that's
also,
what's so confusing to me. Or was he like, listen, let's get a lot of money off this like situation?
but
I don't
like,
get it.
I don't get it either. But and also too, it's like if he's like, I have 3 kids. Like if you had 3 kids and you loved them, like you would be like, like that to me is like, oh, I have 3 kids with this other woman and we aren't together anymore. And I have 3, like I have children and I want more. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that could be such an endearing thing is that he's a father and that she could be like, oh, you're like have kids already. That's like notable. You're not like just like an F boy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Just the thing is, the truth will come out. So, like,
Yeah.
why is he going on a show and saying, I didn't want to talk about it on camera? I'm sorry. You're on a show. You're on a TV show. Like, you didn't just like meet at Trader Joe's and say, I didn't want to talk about it on camera.
And like the truth, like you're never going to, you think you're going to pull a fast one on reality producers. Guess what? Newsflash, you're not.
Yeah.
Our job is always to dig to the truth.
But why did the producers or the casting people not?
I bet you they didn't know. I bet you they didn't know.
But how?
But how would they know?
I don't know. I don't
like
know.
If he doesn't tell them, then how would they know?
I mean, I guess like on Golden Bachelorette, let's move over really quickly to Golden Bachelorette.
Loving PS.
Oh, I am
the Chippendales scene, best scene of my life.
Okay. Are you sad about Charles leaving?
No, I mean they were never going to be together. Come on.
I don't think they ever even kissed on the lips.
He's a star. Watched it yesterday when he's leaving and he like walks up to her and is like, okay, like here's my goodbye. Which I love that it's so obvious now that they do like one by one, they get to go say their goodbyes and it's like all on like it's like they cue them and you can just tell because they're all just standing there after they get eliminated. They just like stand there and look around because they know that like they have to wait to like be like, all right, Charles, and 3, 2, 1, go. Like, but when he walks up to her and she says, Charles, my friend, and gives him a hug, and then she holds him at like arm's length by his shoulders, and she said, you have changed my life. I was like, like
I cried
my eyes out. He is a star. He is like, I need him on every show. I need him on just like, he's coming in the next season to be like the men when they get eliminated and all of the men are like running into their interview to like tackle them to the ground to give them a hug. And that one guy being like, I like him alone a lot. So now I have all of these friends and I'm like going to miss them. I was like destroyed.
There's something about, and I said it yesterday, there's something about the men on this show that are so, they're all good people. Like
they're not like,
obviously
like
some of them have restraining order.
Yeah, sure.
Two of them have restraining. But other than Guy and Gil, they're all good people. Now, Guy did come out. I do want to mention this because yesterday I talked about how one of the contestants, Guy, it came out yesterday that he had this restraining order. And he did respond in an Instagram story yesterday. I guess it didn't actually turn into a restraining order. It became one of those things that like it was about to be and then it got canceled as and whatever, so on and so forth. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but I don't think he actually had the restraining order, which is why he was able to be cast on the show. Gil did have a restraining order. It happened after he was cast on the show.
Guy is Jerry Seinfeld meets Mitt Romney, right?
1,000,000%.
Yeah, okay.
You couldn't have cast
I was like, which one
better.
is he? Yeah, I'm like, which one is he? Like, and I'm like, the one that looks like Jerry Seinfeld and Mitt Romney's child together. Yeah.
The surgeon who can't zest a lemon.
Yeah, who couldn't zest a lemon for his life. That was tough.
Was that not the weirdest thing? He's an uncomfortable person for me. I'm not a fan.
No, he won't. He's not going all the way.
Okay, I need to know. I was texting with Kate Casey last night. I need to know what your top 4 are and who you think is going to win.
Okay, is Jonathan the guy with like the feather tattoo on his chest who like is the hottest one there?
That had the gold speedos.
That was
and, like, pulled up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going out. He's top 3. 100%.
Okay.
There's no way he's not.
Okay.
Chock, I think is up there with her. I think she's picking Chock. I think Chock's winning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Mark or Jordan are the other choice.
Which one is Jordan?
Jordan's the one that went ice skating with her.
Oh, Rick Leventhal. That's all.
My God, he does look like Rick Leventhal.
He is Rick Leventhal.
No, he is. He's like hot though. I'm like, he has a body on him. I'm like, Jordan can F.
I think Rick
Sorry, it's so hard
Leventhal
not to
and
swear.
him are brothers. I'm not joking. They have the same exact face. It's
Yeah,
weird to me.
They do look
Um,
alike.
Speaking of Rick Leventhal, you guys, Rick Leventhal and Kelly Dodd called me out today on their show in a positive way. Kelly Dodd called me this morning. She and I are friendly, and she calls me this morning and she says, Donna, we're going live on YouTube and I don't know how. Please help me. And I walked her and Rick on how to do StreamYard, and they actually pulled it off. So they're live. They were live this morning. It was very cute. But yes, Jordan is Rick Leventhal. Okay, here's my guesses, and then we're gonna move on from Golden Bachelorette. I think her final 4 are gonna be Jonathan, Hottie with the golden speedo.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, because I think Joan.
Like we would both have sex with him, right?
Exactly. And Joan is also feeling a little warm, right? You know, she's feeling warm down there with Jonathan. Like she wants him.
Yeah. Yes.
He's reviving her in a certain way, if you know.
Yeah. So am I, by the way.
Yeah. We're all revived.
Yeah.
Like Guy, the ER doctor, does not know how to revive.
No, he doesn't. No, he sure doesn't.
He's like, but I have the machine, and we're like, no, it's not working. So then there is I think it's going to be Jonathan. I think it's going to be Pascal.
God, oh brother with him.
He's going to be one of the top 4.
You're right.
I think it's going to be Mark.
Who's also hot.
Who's the dad of the Bachelorette winner.
Yeah.
Or the, Joey's whatever.
Whatever,
Yeah, whatever. And they've shown so much of his backstory and like him talking to his daughter. That's why I think. And then finally, it's going to be Chock. And in my mind, it's going to be Joan and Chock forever, because in my eyes, Joan and Chock want to fuck big time.
Goodbye. I have to go.
Don't tell me I'm wrong.
No, you are right. No, you're right.
Did you see them French kiss?
No, when he was like, I have to leave, and she's like, please come back. Like that was electric.
She was like, I'm not doing this show unless you're here. Like,
yeah, no, she was like, I'm out of here. Yeah.
And she's like, literally, I want to fuck you, Chock.
Yeah.
Do you think Chock is his name, or is it Charles?
I don't know. And like, why Chock? But I guess you never know.
You never know.
You never
Okay.
know.
So, the live chat is slowing, and sometimes we have a hard time with the live chat. So I want to know, I'm just making sure that everyone is still seeing us. Are we live? I'm assuming we're live. I mean, like at this point, I have no idea anymore. Yesterday, you should have seen how unhinged yesterday's show was. It was the most unhinged show I've ever done, because I was going back and forth to P. Diddy's press conference.
Oh yeah. You're like doing like CNN like all by yourself.
Control room,
on like YouTube with a like you have a party of one. You know what I mean?
Look, everyone finally woke up. All I had to do was wake them up.
Well, listen, they're probably enthralled by our conversation. She's like, they're not.
I think they're multitasking. Guys, get it together and be involved. JK. And speaking of JK, Joel Kim Booster, JKB. We're going to talk about that in just a second, because Chris, stay here, but I'm going to talk about the sponsor of this week's Daily Dose of Donna, and that is marijuana. It is VIIA. VIIA hemp. So I'll tell you really fast that as the crisp fall air rolls in and the leaves begin to change, don't rely only on pumpkin to spice up your life. Make sure to consider the natural power of cannabis this fall season with VIIA. Whether you're lounging by the fire or exploring new adventures, VIIA's premium federally legal cannabis products are your perfect companion. Farmed and crafted with care in the U.S. and trusted by over 500,000 customers, VIIA has a product for everyone. It's well known for its THCA flower. It's grown indoors, state of the art, grown in. They also have award-winning THC and THC-free gummies and vapes, soothing topicals, and calming drops. So if you need sleep, if you need focus, if you need a better libido, I think Joan doesn't after meeting Chock. I'll just tell you that. If you need any of those things plus more, VIIA legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door. So all you have to do is be 21 and over and go to the link in our website, which is VIIA.com, and you will get 15% off using code Daily Dose. So check out the link after you purchase. They're going to ask where you heard about them. Please support Daily Dose of Donna and tell them we sent you this fall. Enhance your everyday with VIIA. Chris, come on back, my friend, because we need to talk about
I'm here.
OC. Now, before we talk about Real Housewives of OC, did you watch? Obviously, you watched.
Obviously did this morning.
Okay. I watched last night and this morning because I didn't rewatch it. I just
but you gotta sometimes you want to run back over the facts with it.
There's like a moment or two.
That's something that we didn't even discuss about Love is Blind. This will be quick.
Yeah.
When I tell you that I met my sisters and they specifically didn't watch it so that they could watch it with me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm 9 episodes ahead of you." Like, what?
Oh, I love that.
I don't know why you were thinking to do that, but I was rewatching like them in the pods, and when I tell you that whatever Steven, the one that like was texting during a sleep study,
Kinky during a sleep test.
Yeah, he admits to Monica in the pods while they're just. The first time they see each other, like on the show, he's like, I cheated on my girl. Like, I have been cheated on and I've cheated, like, blah, blah, whatever. I was texting someone else, like, basically saying exactly what he does to her. He has already done. Like, it is admitted in the pods. And we just, obviously, there's like so much that happens that, like, I'm not hanging on to that information. But, like, watching it back and they have no idea, like, they are truly spoiler free. And so I'm like, I'm just sitting there like this, like, with my eyes, like, bugging out of my head, like it's freaking Beetlejuice. And I'm like, just sitting there bracing for impact because I'm like, oh my God, they really are just like there was another thing too that I was like, oh, this is like what's going to happen later. And I
don't know if
like,
you're talking about this, but yesterday my friend Eliza sent me a text and she's like, there was a scene with Tyler early on when they were in Mexico. Tyler's the one with the 3 kids. And he said to Ashley, he's like, oh, you wouldn't have liked me a couple years ago. Like you would, I'm not, I'm like not a good
man.
guy.
Yeah. No, like they tell us right to our faces.
I know. It's real bad.
Yeah.
It's real bad. I know. Do you think that Steven's texts to the kinky text to the woman?
I want to see them. I want to see them so badly.
Well, obviously,
I want to know everything. Yeah.
Like, where's her TikTok? But also, do you think his texts were better or worse than Alexis Bellino's text to Shannon last night?
How dare you? There's so many texts, actually.
Texts are ruling the roost.
Yeah. Stevens had to have been better because Alexis is like playing with half of a deck of cards and half of that half deck is missing. I don't know what is happening.
Ding dong, ding dong. Ding dong. Let's first talk about one thing that I think is important. And I don't want to forget about it because we've been talking so much about the the Love Hotel story, where Shannon Beador got like raked over the coals by Joel Kim Booster. I don't know if you know him, and I don't know if you like him or his friend. I don't know him, and I don't like him. I never really liked him. You know, certain people you don't get their comedy. I always found him a little bit offensive.
Sure.
This was too much for me. I think no matter what Shannon did, and especially, and I talked about this, that I have one of my husband's connections is on a crew. He was a crew guy on the show. And he was like, we asked specifically, and he was like, no, they're just housewives. Like they all are housewives. Like that's, Chris, you work with these women. Like, yes, some have like diva experiences, like, but you kind of just expect it, don't you, with housewives?
I think that there's a way to handle every situation, and I'm not sure that this was the way to handle it.
You mean his way?
You know what I mean? Like, even if there's always, even at a job, even if you work at the post office and there's someone who's like very difficult to work with, like you have to navigate that situation, and like going on the internet to tell everyone that like how difficult this person was is not usually a way that you do it. I don't know.
It's absolutely not. Now, it's one thing if you get, really horrible service at a restaurant and you get treated like shit by the manager and you decide to go on your TikTok and it goes viral. I think that's different. But he's a hired talent on a show. So many people's careers are on the line here because it's a show that costs a lot of money. A lot of people, whatever. And then you go and disparage her. Just call a friend. Or just tell your Patreon.
Or just think about it just think about it and then think, just don't do anything in the moment.
something was off there. It wasn't right, but he did apologize.
And P.S. like, say you're upset. Say she did the worst thing ever and was so mean to you, and like it was like completely warranted. The next morning, do you want to bet she probably would have texted him and be like, "I'm so sorry." And if she didn't, he could have texted her and be like, "Hey, you might not even remember what you did last night, but blank, 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 blank," and then like did it that way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally. And I think, Luann was on Melissa Gorga's podcast yesterday, and she said that he individually apologized to all the cast. But we were all saying yesterday, okay, but this was a public statement. He should be publicly kind of releasing Shannon from this, because the world doesn't know that he apologized to Luann and Shannon. So like, let the world know that you apologize. And he finally did. I believe it was this morning. He said on his Instagram stories, I know, he first said, the housewives of it all. What does that even mean? The housewives of it all. It's just the housewife. Okay. I've had a lot of time to think and process about this, and I wish I could say it. I was not the guy who posted those statements on Instagram, but the fact is that I am. I let an on-set conflict cloud my judgment and assess the darkest, ugliest part of myself, and said things I don't stand by or even believe, and I am deeply sorry that I allowed my worst self to cloud my judgment. I know Shannon has had an extraordinarily hard year, as she has bravely shared, and as someone who has struggles of their own that have spilled over into work, I should have had more grace for her in that moment. I am deeply sorry for the ways in which I've made Shannon's road towards stability more difficult, and hope that she makes it out the other side of the stronger, healthier, and with the love that she deserves in her life. I regret making this a part of the story of the show, as I'm deeply proud of the work myself, the ladies, and the crew put into making it. What are your thoughts?
I think that I like the idea that he was like, the crew did because I am the crew whenever I'm doing it. Your husband's the crew. Like, we show up and we're way before they are, and we're there way after they leave. And we work really effing hard to make really good television. And that's often forgotten by a lot of people. And I will say, not usually the housewives. Like, even Luann, like Lou will be like, "Oh, you're working really hard." You know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, or there will be times and it's like, "This is really hard to set up, so like you better really like this." Do you know what I mean? And they're like, "Got it." You know what I mean? And they're like, "Yep, we're on it." Like, we're having a good time. Which I will say, when we get to OC, like they're all bought into London, even the parts that they don't want to do. Like that boat, none of them wanted to do that boat. They still did it and gave us what we needed to get from the boat.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Which I really liked. And that was a note that I wrote down, was like, they're all in on this trip, even if it's not what they want to do.
Oh,
and like
they're game. They play the game.
Yeah. And like having things that like happen that kind of already taint something before it even comes out is hard. Like, that's such a letdown. And so, and again, like, work in the ways that this is the smartest for you to do. Like, there's so many different ways of recourse, rather than just like trashing someone's name at like 2:00 in the morning when you're not sober.
Totally.
Allegedly.
Yeah. And no, 100%.
Right. How many times have you and I both been like, "I'm putting this on my Instagram story," and then like you halfway through are like, "What am I doing?"
Or I want
and then
to comment.
Yeah. And like fight with someone, and then I'm like, and then you're like, "For what?" Like, for them to then fight with you back, and like,
or then for someone to like attack me on Reddit. Like, that's the thing. I think, and I don't even do that drunk. I do that sober. I have to stop myself all the time. Even on this show, like, shockingly, because I say whatever I think usually, but there's still things I don't say. Like, you have to hold yourself.
No, of course.
So
I might be doing that right now. Wink. You know what I mean?
We all are. I personally, the only song that comes to mind is "It's Just a Little Too Late" by JoJo. I am not personally, I think this apology came way too late. He let it marinate for 2 weeks. That's way too long. And it sounds to me like he got in trouble for it. And Andy Cohen wasn't even really into opening up the discussion to talk about it in yesterday's show during the Watch What Happens live episode. Shannon was asked about it by someone, and Andy didn't even like respond to it. He kind of didn't even say anything. So he was like, okay, so let's move on. Anyway, the point is, as I believe Chris is either frozen or staring at me so creepily with his eyes half open, I'm going to keep on talking because I'm assuming he's frozen, unless He's trying. Like, it's the funniest thing when you actually are on the YouTube and you see someone just frozen, half staring at you. Okay, let's move on. He left and he'll come right back, I'm sure. This is the problem with internet, you guys. It just works. But hi, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. So while Chris is just kind of getting his stuff together to come back, we have to talk about OC. We have now entered London. Okay. We are in London and before we get to London, and when Chris comes on, I'm sure we're going to talk about this more. But before we get into London, we are now in the logging back in. He's saying, okay, good. We are now getting mammograms. Now, I thought this is kind of an interesting scene for Real Housewives of OC. But I also thought, yay, you're back, you're alive.
The ghost of Bravo was kicking me out.
It was Joel Kim Booster.
I was about to say too much and they took me away.
No, it was literally the Bravo Marshal. You know how like on Jeff Lewis, the Bravo Marshal? No, you're good, honey. You're good. And it's actually perfect because I was just getting into how in OC yesterday, we're starting with the mammogram scenes, which I thought were kind of like, at that point, I was like, why are we doing this? This is interesting. I liked it. It was good. But it all makes sense why. And we'll talk about it as we get through the episode. What are your thoughts? I love Jen Pedranti. Love her. Actually, really like her.
Really?
But I'm a fan and I've met her actually and I really like her. And I'm not saying she's the smartest person because who gets a lump and sits on it for 5 months?
No, it's she, but that is her in a nutshell and I can't deal with that. I can deal with like a lot, but like Tamara said it best whenever Eddie was like, what happened when you like told her that you would talk about it later with her and like make up with her? She was like, okay, great. Like I was dying and Eddie was like trying not to laugh too hard. He was like, and I was just like, she is just so, it's actually shocking how like you can say the worst thing about her ever. And she just like, it washes right over her.
It's actually refreshing that she doesn't take anything that's like serious. No, seriously, because I feel like we're so used to every housewife being so aggressive when they come back.
Then we have Shannon and Tamra and like Vicky,
so like part of me is like Jen is so light. Now I actually have to say, and we have not talked about this, like I said, you're gonna scare me if you tell me that you're Team Tamra. I feel like you are.
I am Team. What do you mean by Team Tamra? Like
on
what?
This season.
No, not Team Tamra.
Okay.
I will hold Tamra in high regard forever because I think she's one of the best to ever do it. And like, I have my roster of her resume of like the scene where Ryan brings that girl that he then married and had those kids with to like have dinner with her for the first time, and they are like, "Here's my new girlfriend. She's in."
Chris and this freezing. I am telling you, what is she? He literally is like, this is my new girlfriend. And she's like, Tamra, in my opinion, I mean, thank God I can talk because if Chris didn't have the ability, like if I was a quiet, awkward person, this would be so uncomfortable. Chris, there you are. I mean,
there I am. Now you're hijacking me because I'm Team Tamra.
It's Tamara's fault now. Wait, so what did Ryan's girlfriend say she was?
An arms. She's like, she like is an arms dealer.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
She like sells guns. Like she like owns a gun store.
I forgot that.
I'm saying the word arms dealer as if it's like.
Oh my God. I forgot that.
Like, she like owned a gun store and she like had a little pea shooter in her purse. And then they're like, P.S. We're engaged you're meeting her for the first time. We're engaged getting married. We have the venue. We have the dress. Here we are. Like,
oh my God.
Well,
nightmare.
Meet each other. And Tamara has a mental breakdown and goes into her kitchen and opens up the cabinets and just screams into them.
I would do the same as a mother.
Incredible housewife.
It was a lot. So Jen Pedranti talks about the fact that she has this lump for 5 months.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I knew it wasn't going to be anything serious because we follow these people
we would then
in real
know.
time.
Yeah, we would know now. Yeah.
But like that was crazy.
It was
because
and
there's a lot of people like this, by the way. There's a lot of women that do this. They avoid getting results because it's so scary. And that was
like Dolores. This was like a couple years ago. This is before I worked on Jersey. Like Dolores did a whole thing that was like a mammogram. It was like raising money for this, like the shelter so all the women could get mammograms or something like that. And they were like, And then they were like, okay, when was your last mammogram? And everyone's like, oh, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, last year, blah, blah. And Dolores is like 5 years ago. And they're all like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's even the ones that are
And
raising money for it are
Gina,
like,
I
yeah,
think, said she hadn't gotten one in years and years and years.
yeah,
I mean, the truth is, I've been getting mammograms since I was like 36 or something. For whatever reason, they felt like I was
Yeah.
at a risk level. So I'm a big proponent. Go
Sure.
and get mammograms, and especially if you feel something, go and get it because
One,
it's avoiding the inevitable. You're
One-
gonna have to deal with it. It's like Tyler and his 3 kids.
and Heather's very right when she's like, the best thing you can do is like do preventative things. Like at their age, like once I get to be in that age bracket, it's like you have to just start like hunting for it.
Totally. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think that like that's why I wish I had enough money to do prenatal.
I'm like texting Dolores every day. I'm like, what's your like, can't you get me a free one? She's like, no.
Yeah.
She's like,
no, I need code Donna for $300 off. Like, I need to get in there.
I'm same. I'm like, please. She's like, you're 34 years old. You don't need this. And I'm like, please.
I would have done it at 7. I was a hypochondriac born and raised.
No, you know what's crazy? A lot of people my age now are getting like serious colon problems and are like that are in their 30s. Like,
well, I just saw a crazy article about this. Young people are getting sick.
I know someone that's was only a couple years older than me that died. It's like
God, Chris,
yes.
this is not the time.
No, I'm sorry, but but all this to say, like the preventative measures, like it's worth doing it.
Okay, you guys, everyone take a deep breath. Everyone go and get tested. Go to the doctor. Luckily, everyone seemed to be fine. Now, one person got some unnerving results. We see Heather getting results that she had a 39% chance of breast cancer occurring, even though she did not have any signs of it because of her family history, her age, and her genetics or whatever. It was an interesting thing. And I didn't pick up on the fact that she didn't share that with the crew until obviously it got brought up in London later. Did you pick up on the fact that like she didn't talk about that?
She didn't, but they also didn't ask. But it was kind of like when they were like, yeah, like you see them be like, oh, we hear that it's fine and they think it's Heather. Like I do understand where the ladies did think that, but at the same time, there is a part of me that is like, oh, I do see where Heather's coming from because I feel like I'm that person that no one like. She's always in control, obviously. Like I don't need to say that. She's always in control. And she's always kind of the leader, and she's always kind of like remember when they flipped that dune buggy over and they thought they were like gonna die, and she was the one that like got out and was like checked herself and then was like doing the triage of like figuring out who was like okay, if everyone was okay and stuff. Like she sprung into action, and like if one of them was like really hurt, she was going to be the person to like alert the crew that like they needed to like, you know what I mean? Like she like knows what she's doing. And so I feel that I'm not that I would be able to do that level of like, spring into action, but like when you're that person that no one ever asks, like, are you doing okay? How are you doing? Like, is everything good? Because they just expect that you're always going to figure it out on your own. Like she is that person. And so I like felt for her.
Okay. Well, I don't really know if I should do this or not, jump ahead, but I feel like we have to because I don't want to forget this. I was very bothered by her bringing it up at the dinner.
And like crying. Yeah.
I found that whole scene, and this is what's confusing to me. Now, like I said, I'm cutting ahead because there's a lot of scenes that we can talk about in a second of them getting ready to go to London.
Sure.
They end up going to London, and of course, they end up. We'll get back to it, but in the first dinner,
we also have I have a thesis to like talk about like Alexis Bellino also, so we have to like.
Oh my God, we didn't even get to the. Okay, but let's just. I want to wrap.
We'll close this out. Yeah.
Heather brings up at the dinner. Well, actually, no, not Heather. Tamra, who, funnily enough, if that's a word, is sleeping in the same suite with Heather. So Tamra and Heather are in cahoots on this season. They're very close. They're the only ones that are close with Bellino, and they have some sort of connection. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, weeks after the mammogram, probably, or days or whatever, Tamra goes, oh, by the way, I know how their mammograms went, but Heather, I don't know about yours. I found it to be so obviously like instilled by Heather to say, hey, the girls never asked me about my mammogram. And Tamara's like, I'm going to bring that up. And Heather was like, acting 101. You never asked me. I despise that moment.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Don't admonish me.
Uh,
Don't admonish me is all we ever needed to, all we need to see about
it
her.
showed so much about her as a person.
Incredible.
What do you think about that? Like, I understand feeling hurt, feeling like left out. Like, no one did say, hey, Donna, are you okay? I get that. I didn't like how it took weeks to happen or days to happen. And
No,
then
and
for it to come out in that dinner.
It was just very like, well, and also like I mean, that's just who she is. She wants to be able to, like, you know what I mean? Like, and like, you would think like, I'm really nervous right now because I have a 40%, like, you think she would tell all of them immediately. Like,
Yeah, because
in the office, because they're all like freaking, you know what I mean?
Well, so what
but again,
happened?
none of them asked. I do there is a part of me that gets it, but you are right with the like, we're setting it up to then be this thing where she gets to have a sob story.
And I feel like I have to rewatch that scene because what happened was they heard the yay when she and I think it was Jen or
Gina,
whatever.
it was Jen and Shannon, yeah.
Jen and Shannon were sitting in the lobby and they heard Gina and Heather going, yay. So they assumed everything was fine. They came back together and then they started talking about that everyone was fine. And I don't remember them saying, Gina, how are you? Jen, how are you? Shannon, how are you? I have a feeling Heather was like, I am waiting for them to address me. Just say, why don't you just say, guys, I'm scared. I just got like kind of a bad comment from the
Or like
doctor.
if someone was just like, we're all good, right? Like, well, because that's the other thing is like, if you hear that, now I'm putting on my like producer hat, is like, I would want her to tell them but I guess I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah, it felt like very created, like this created drama that Heather had. Heather really did try to make everything about her in yesterday's episode. I am saying out loud to my Daily Dose of Donna crowd that Heather and Tamara are on, well, and Alexis Volino and Johnny J. They're all on the bottom of the lineup for me right now. I can't stand them. I don't know. Heather, there's something about Heather this season that is really turning me off as well. With her conversation with Emily the week before. Like, I'm just not feeling Heather right now.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, and also her scenes with Terry are really tough these years. Like, it's gotten really, it's gotten
oh, you're amazing. No,
it's gotten tough. I will say. And she used to be like one of my favorites ever. Like,
I know. We go up and down. I go up and down with Heather. I have a love-hate.
When you turn, and like, again, people have good seasons and people have bad seasons. The reason these shows are so successful is because we ride it out with them.
100%.
Like next season, we might be like, Heather's the best person of all time. You know what I mean? Like, and we're like, Shannon, boo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Emily, boo. Like, we might
100%.
Like, I can't stand watching them. Like, like, there were times that it would be like, I would be like, Dorit, like, on Beverly Hills, like I was like, I want to throw this woman off of a cliff. Like, I can't stand her. Then there would be whole seasons where I was like, she's the only one that I like. I love her. Like, she's the best ever. And then it comes back around where I'm like, this woman is insufferable. Like, I can't, like, she is beyond like repair. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but that's what I always
that's what we love about it is that
I know
like, we can have that with them and it still is a parasocial relationship and we're mentally ill, but we like, that is a part of it is that like we go through these peaks and valleys and you can't have the peaks without the valleys is what I always say.
100%. And I love that every season is different. It would be boring if we only liked people. So actually we mentioned Alexis here. So other than that Heather Dubrow, ultrasound situation, which it looks like it's gonna reinvigorate this conversation between Gina and Heather about what do you want me as a friend.
That was good too. When Gina was like, oh, like, and there's times in Gina, I'm like, why is Gina still on the show? I love her.
Get it.
Like, there's times that I'm like, why? But then I'm like, no, because she will go there with people and like get in fights and like be dirty and like in a way that's like respectable that I like.
I think this cast is phenomenal right now. I think all of them are doing like the Lord's work. So go back to the beginning of the show.
I don't know. Where we're getting, I want to talk about this because the Alexis versus Shannon of it all is like, we're lost in the sauce of it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Do you feel this way? Does anyone feel this way? Because I feel like we've like
talk more about it. Well, actually hold, because I want to just say at the beginning of the episode, Alexis sends a text to Shannon. At this point, Shannon has sent a text to Alexis saying you are not invited on the trip, and Alexis Bellino decides to send a text back to Shannon that she shows on the screen that says, "Hi, Shannon Beador. Since you're hosting this amazing trip to Europe with our friends, surely you can scrounge," which, by the way, scrounge up the funds to pay my future husband his $75,000 that you borrowed and owe him. Safe travels. I just want to remind everyone, she wasn't even engaged at this point. My future husband, it's gross. They just started dating like 2 months before. Grosser. But what do you mean lost in the sauce between Shannon and Alexis? Talk.
We touch on it every episode. Like, it is this thing that is like the theme of the season, and yet we've yet to like we haven't litigated any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? We like, even the first episode, she's like, "I know you're upset that I'm dating your boyfriend." And Shannon's like, "No, I'm actually not upset about that at all. You can do whatever you want. I'm upset that you sued me like X number of years ago. And like, that was on you." And then in the end of the episode, when we see that she is completely right and she has the proof of it and Alexis is lying. And I was like, that was like a turn that I wasn't expecting we were going to take, which I loved. But like, then she's like, "No, it's not. It's because I'm dating your boyfriend. I'm dating your ex-boyfriend." And it's like, and Shannon's like, "No, it's actually not about that. Like, I'm actually mad at you from this other thing that you did that was shitty." And then like, as we keep going, Alexis sometimes in the same scene will be like, "I really want to move forward with Shannon. Shannon's a lying piece of trash." Like, and she's like, "I'm suing her and then I'm sending her a gift for her birthday. And because I sued her and then sent her flowers, she should want to invite me on this trip." Like, and then whenever she like finds out she's not going on the trip, she like kicks them out of her house and is so upset. It makes no sense. And also, I want to shake Shannon because I want to be like, "Shannon, all you have to say is like, oh, Alexis, John needs $75,000 so badly that he has to sue me for it." Like, that would be like mic drop destroy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, "Oh, you don't have $75,000 between the two of you to like pay for your meals?"
Yeah. No, it's
like, that's an incredible, like,
thing.
you know what I'm saying? And like, Alexis and she's like, "We want to get to a better place." And I'm like, you're suing her. Like, you're not getting to a better place. That's not happening.
It does feel all confusing. You're right. But I think the source of all of the mess is just Alexis being Alexis. Like, she's not well in her brain.
But then I also want Shannon to be like, "In what world would I ever want to be friends with you? I don't understand what's wrong." Like, do you know what I'm saying?
She has kind of said that.
Yeah.
She has kind of said, "Alexis, I will never be your friend. Like, we will not be friends." When she went up to her.
Yeah. No, you're right. You are right.
But Alexis is living in an insane asylum if she believes. Number one, she's a friend of. Number two, she says, "With our friends, you're going on this trip with our friends." Shannon's not paying for that trip. Guys, talk to us as a producer. I mean, you've produced shows. Shannon doesn't.
No, but it's also, it has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the fact that it's like, you didn't get invited. Like, she's mad because like the production was like, "You're not coming." You know what I mean? Like, that's what she's really upset about. But I just don't understand. Again, like, why would it make sense for her to go with these people when she's actively dating this man that is actively trying to ruin Shannon's life?
None of it
makes
makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
But I don't think Shannon is only mad at her because she sent her that original lawsuit in text.
No, of course she's not. But
She's
it's
mad
like,
because of John.
no, sure, but like, that is what it is. But then once you get lawsuits involved, it's like, I don't know. Maybe because it's a lawsuit that's ongoing, they can't talk. Like, I feel like no one else is like weighing in on how insane this situation is.
It's incredibly insane.
Right. But none of that, they're all like once it got kicked out of Alexis's house, they should have run back to Shannon and been like, "You can't believe what just happened, blah, blah, blah," and like built it up. And instead they just like let it happen and like didn't like why haven't I heard
casually at that?
Why haven't I heard them at that dinner be like, "Oh, P.S. Alexis like kicked us out of her house whenever she found out she wasn't coming on this trip."
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
I did hear Jen say it during the mammogram lobby, but in a very throwaway way.
And it's like, I want to like dig into what the situation of there. It's like, I know it's happening, but I don't have the nuts and bolts of what actually is happening. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm just saying a lot of words, but like, we're never getting to the root of the issue. It's just this like volleying back and forth of like they don't like here's then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then like
I would
I don't
say it probably comes down to the fact that Alexis is jealous that Shannon gets all the experiences and she doesn't get invited in because Shannon's there. So
yeah.
that's why she's trying to kind of like be nice to her and send her the flowers because she just wants to get invited on the trips. But Shannon is livid over Alexis, and Tamra and Heather are shockingly into Alexis. Like that part is the confusing part.
And that's the thing that's sad is like I feel like Tamara's dimming her light. Like you're gonna kill me. Tamara's dimming her light and is almost like she's not really doing much in this, minus like screaming at Ryan. She's not really doing much in the season. Like I feel like she's like a B character and she's always been an A character. And it's like it makes me sad.
She's 100% a B character in this in the season, and literally, I didn't think she could look worse, and this episode made her look worse. For her to go after Shannon so many times on her birthday trip, making fun of the bucket hat, talking shit about this, and if Heather Dubrow decides one more time to get up on in a public place, she pulled the microphone on the JetBlue plane.
Oh, brother, with
And
that. Yeah,
called
I
out
can't
the
wait.
fact that Shannon's single.
Wait,
And then
wait, I'm sorry. I think that's fun. When they were at the thing, this is what okay. Yes, we want drama. Yes, we want fighting. But there's a part of it when they're being idiots and like being stupid that is so enjoyable. Again, when they go to the hotel and they're like, Shannon, like, look at that hot guy at the door. Like, I think that's so funny.
But I think it's funny if it was people that liked Shannon. But Tamra hates Shannon, so it feels
okay. But even again, and Shannon's like, where are these bucket hats? And they're like, okay. And even if they make fun of it in the interviews, like it's fun that they all wore them. You know what I mean? Like, and then when they go on that boat again, none of them wanted to go on the boat at all. It's like looks like a death on wheels, and they did it, and it was funny, and I laughed at it. And they were down to
pay money to watch Heather struggle through that boat ride again.
Same.
She's too buttoned up, like
so high strung. Yeah. Don't admonish me.
Boat. She yelled at the boat. Boat. Don't admonish me. I personally love Emily energy. I love that kind of fun. Like I'm just trying to have fun energy.
Oh, and that's the thing. Emily and Gina are like here to stay. Like everyone's
100%.
I feel like there was a long time where they were like people were trying to get them off the show, and I'm like, no.
6 seasons for us to like them, but now we do.
No, it's like they're ingrained. They're in the fab. Like they're there. Like where, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why isn't Vicky on this trip?
I think that
I would like to see Vicky on this trip.
I think it would have been too dramatic with the Tamra of it all. Like it would have just been too much fight. I don't know. I mean, I'm all
like that's what. But again, like that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want is like them. Like they also need to talk about like the Tres Amigas and how they're not. Like I feel like we're getting drama, but it's not the drama that I want to see.
It's, I just think it really comes down to the fact that Tamra and Heather really do seem like very mean girls right now. When they're sitting in the suite and they're just talking shit about Shannon, about how she's lying. And wait, really fast, Jeff Lewis is a character on Real Housewives of all the shows.
I know. No, it's really only on OC, but he is like the whatever 6th or 7th housewife. Like Jeff Lewis and Alexis have the same like billing.
They're both friend of house. Jeff Lewis has been on every season of every show this season. Like right now, he's an integral part of New York right now and of OC. Like at this point, either make him a character. You know what I think they should do for Bravo? Now, this is going to be a little bit out of left field, but remember how Howard Stern had a Sirius radio show on E every day, and we would watch it on E? I think Bravo should do a live, everyday video version of Jeff Lewis live. And then we would be able to watch all of these reality stars go in there and talk live, like instead of listening only on Sirius, because you can see the video on Sirius. They should sell it to Bravo. Okay, I digress. Because we don't have that much longer. I do have to pick up my kids. So let's get into the fact that this Jeff Lewis comment. What? Why was, he froze again. He froze again looking up at heaven. You guys, this Jeff Lewis comment is so confusing to me. Basically, on Jeff Lewis Live, Shannon Bedore gets asked by Jeff, didn't you ever think that John Jansen heard the fact that you crashed your car just outside of his house? And Shannon says, I actually hadn't thought about that. Now, we find out later that Shannon had a conversation with, oh my God, Chris is there twice. Hold on. Chris?
I'm back. Now the ghost of Jeff Lewis is knocking me off the podcast.
Oh my gosh, Chris, we're talking about the comment that happened on Jeff Lewis. So Jeff Lewis, she said, I had never thought about the fact that John Jansen heard me crash into the car. That was that comment.
See, and this is where I kind of lean over to the side of Tamara and Heather, even though yeah, you are right. They're being mean girls and it's annoying. But I will say they've really had to put up with Shannon for a very long time. And Shannon's never been a very easy person to get along with from viewing her on this TV show. It's never been easy to have a relationship with Shannon. You know what I mean? And they all for seasons have been like, she'll call you in the middle of the night. She's blackout drunk and she like tells you her deepest, darkest secrets. And then
she feels like a very draining.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I think they're like, okay, we're really over this now. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. So my question for you is, why is Heather making that about her though? You guys, he can't seriously freeze every day like this. Oh, you're there.
I'm there. I'm frozen in thought is what's happening.
That was the longest. You short circuited.
I did. I'm thinking because it like is about her, but it's all like, I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm like on her side about it. Like,
Chris, we're going to fight.
But like, she's like, you showed me this. And this is what I don't like is when Shannon's like, I came to you in confidence and said that. And you're like, yes, on camera. Like the whole world is going to see you showing me this photo of you with like a bloody face. Like, so then why is she not saying that on Jeff Lewis? And the answer is that because we're in a lawsuit, I shouldn't say that. Get what I'm saying? Like that's what the answer is. But Shannon can't say that. It's too convoluted.
Well, too breaking the fourth wall is really what it is.
And it's not even breaking the fourth wall because she can say like, you told me this, but then like, why did you lie? And she could be like, because we're in the lawsuit of it ruins everything.
It does.
It does. The question is, why is she making it about her? And I think that Heather has to make it about her. I guess, yeah, because she's like, I feel used, which I was like, all right, oh, brother. But it's annoying, but I'm still like, Heather is right.
Oh, I see. I see it so differently. I think that, okay, Jeff said on his show, Andrew says, Jeff said on his show, Shannon lied on Jeff Lewis to protect herself and Jeff from a lawsuit for defamation. There is a lot that they can't really say, but they're saying without being able to say it. You know, it's one of those things. But Shannon going to Heather and vulnerably in a really, really tough day for Shannon. Remember, that was the day that she was getting just kind of like attacked by everyone.
No, sure.
So she went to Heather as a friend and did show all this. And yes, cameras were there. But that means that if we're saying that was just for show, just for camera, then I think you have to delegitimize every single scene we've ever seen on the show between friends. Like, this is the show. And you have Shannon going over to Heather's room to talk before dinner. Of course, cameras are going to be there. I don't know if Shannon was like that smart to think I'm doing this on camera for this reason because I want to use Heather for A, B, and C. I don't know. I think that Shannon was feeling low and needed a friend.
I agree with you. You are right. However, I think the other part is like, okay, but then when I'm like behind you, if I'm like there for you and I hear this and I'm like on your side, and then you go on national radio and say something different, like that's what's happening. Like, I think she has a right to be like, wait, you told me this thing and that's not what you said on this live radio show.
I guess what I don't like about it is who gives a shit if she said that she thought John Jansen heard her or not.
But because it's the story's always changing is what I think it is. And I feel this way as a viewer that like, we hear this, we hear that, we hear this. And it's like, oh, it was never alone. He just said he was going to do this. And then it was alone. Like, not for nothing, that does matter. Because she's saying there's no merit to this lawsuit because it wasn't alone. And then on Jeff Lewis, she says, no, it was alone. Right? Okay. Isn't that what it was? Like, that to me is like, okay, so you need to pay him money. That like,
well, there was two things that were said on Jeff Lewis that were confusing. That's also another reason why this is confusing, because there's two things that Heather is upset about. She's feeling used because of the conversation that she had with with Shannon about how, do you think it's possible that he heard her coming out of the, crashing the car and didn't go there, and she called him? Remember, she called him and he didn't pick up the phone or something, or she texted him and he didn't
and he
text
like
back.
didn't.
So there was that. And then she went to Jeff and said, I hadn't thought about the fact if he heard me or not. There was that. So Heather somehow feels used, even though that confuses me beyond.
No, it's annoying. Her part of it is annoying. Yes, you are right.
Way to make it about yourself. Then the second part is about whether or not it was alone. And yes, she lied apparently about one thing or another. But I just think, to be honest, I think Shannon, whether it's alcohol driven or not, it may be. But Shannon's brain sometimes, I think, is a little bit flighty. And like, I don't know if she gets her words perfectly correctly. And I think she does kind of screw up a little bit.
Sure. But then other people are allowed to hold her feet to the fire if they're like, I feel like we're making a lot of allowances for Shannon when it's like, but do you know what I'm saying? But then like, if this was someone else, it's like, wait, I don't like this or this, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And yes, has Shannon been through 9 million things? Like, is she in shambles? I mean, she's always in shambles, but is she, has it been really fucking hard for her? Yes. But that doesn't mean she's like, I'm always right. Everyone always attacks me. And it's like, well, you tell us 7 different stories and then we don't know which one it is.
So that's how I really do get both. Yeah. I do, because Shannon.
No one's right in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, they're both wrong is what's the problem.
I think also what bothers me is that they're holding her so like seriously to this lie, quote unquote lie, about if it's alone or not, rather than just saying it doesn't matter. As a friend, it sucks that you're going through this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was alone or not. Maybe you do need to pay him back, whatever. But this does suck that you're going through this.
I just feel like I feel like they have done that. They've been there for her.
Tamra?
Not Tamra.
Heather, a little bit.
Yeah, but like the other ladies have definitely been there for her.
The other ladies have been great to Shannon. I feel like
Tamra and Heather are like, this is like season 17 of what the Shannon show of her like being, remember, because like when David was leaving, like they've been there for her through thick and thin, quite literally. And so
what do you think about, and then, of course, at the end of the scene, Tamra kind of goes after Shannon about being a liar. And then Shannon, of course, does what she does, which is like, I'm done. I'm going home. I'm leaving. And Tamra, she's so mean. Oh, go run to the bar or whatever. And then she's laughing at her.
She's so horrible.
It's so mean.
Bad. I know, it's so bad.
Because we've all been Shannon before, right?
Yeah.
We've all had that moment where you're sitting at a table with all your friends and you're feeling attacked and you just want to cry and leave. Can you imagine that someone laughs at you in that moment? That sucks.
And I think the problem that they have with her is that like, it's like, just tell us the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just tell us the truth. Like, I think that Shannon, I think that Tamra and Heather's BS meters are like through the roof with Shannon, and they know her really well. And I think that, and I do think Shannon's like spun 16 different stories about the same thing. You know what I mean? And although she has the smoking gun for Alexis, which but again, like, will we see that even be used? I want it to be. Like, I really want.
Well, they do bring it up next episode. Yeah. So at the end of the episode, she runs off to get her Grey Goose or her Belvedere and her Diet Coke.
I know.
I'm like, oh, Shannon.
No, which I have to agree with. I have to side with Tamra. I know that you're gonna hate this, but like when she's like, just don't drink on camera, like, you idiot. And she's like, I can have one. But this is the thing. Shannon doesn't want to say, I have a problem with alcohol.
Of course.
Shannon wants to say, I'm okay. And everyone's like, Shannon, we've all said on this show like 5 years ago that you have a problem with alcohol. Like, we've been past that.
What? Shannon's never been on the show without a problem with alcohol.
Yeah. So it's like, that's, I think, the other thing that like I have to put myself in their shoes and be like, this is so grating. This would be grating on me to be like, I can drink. And like, she's drinking on camera so that she can be like, I can drink and be fine. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, like just hide it. Like we all, like the rest of us do. Do you know what I mean? Like just say that you're sober and then drink off camera. Like
it's really awkward when she runs off and immediately goes and gets an alcoholic.
And her hand is like shaking.
I mean, it's
bad.
really uncomfortable. So then at that point, she goes off and Gina, thank God for Gina, goes and runs after her. And that's when she's able to show Gina this text. Now, this is like karma, right? Has that ever happened to you? You text someone whose number is not on your phone because she didn't have her number saved, probably. She texts her and it pulls up, which is shocking, from 2018, a text from Alexis saying, we, meaning Jim Bellino and I, are going to sue you or whatever for disparaging us. And this goes back to the lawsuit with Tamara and Heather McDonald that happened back in 2018.
Yeah. And how dare they, by the way, Bravo blew up like it's Alexis, it's the date, it's like they were like, we can't for 1 second let anyone like misconstrue that this is the smoking gun. And they're like highlighting our. I was like dying laughing. Because I'm like, Alexis is going down, baby.
And also, I don't think I've ever once in my entire life sent a text message to anyone saying we, meaning my husband and I, are going to sue you. But Alexis does that twice. Like between the text to Shannon now and the text to Shannon before, like, is this just like Alexis?
Oh, God.
She's like, oh, I already have a template for this text. Like,
no,
I've done it before.
Can you imagine if Shannon was like, I found the text and it's the exact same text and she just like changed the words?
And the words,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Can you imagine if it was just like you put them right next to each other and it's like the exact same text message and it just says Jim and it just says like backspace John.
Jay. My husband, my future husband. Okay, so the entire thing is gross, obviously, with Alexis. We're going to talk about that next week because at that point, Shannon does say to Tamara, you didn't even say it to everyone here that I brought it up to you that she had actually sent it. And Tamara's reaction, and this is of course just the trailer, but Tamara's reaction to that is, oh, shut up, you liar.
I know. That's the thing is like, she like won't. But why is Shannon not like, as they're in the Sprinter van, Shannon should have her phone and be like, here you go, ladies, and pass around the phone and like show. Like, why was that not like second two of them being in London, her showing them?
I would think
she's always reacting. She's always on the defense, and I need Shannon to get on the offense.
That's actually a really good point. She needs to be a little more strategic.
Yeah.
She's not strategic, which is why she comes off like a bumbling mess.
And a victim all the time.
And a victim.
She's always a victim because she's never the first one. She's never the first one to strike. And she needs to be at a certain point now.
Totally. And if she walked in there confident and was like, ladies.
Like she did at the beginning of the season when Alexis was there and she had her head held high. She looked the best she's ever looked on this show.
She looked phenomenal.
She looked phenomenal. And Alexis was like, I know that you're like, blah, 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 and like being a loser. And she was like waiting for her to, you know, like just blinking her eyes, waiting for her to finish and going, no, Alexis, that's actually like she had rehearsed it for months, you could tell. And she was like, no, Alexis, that's actually not why I'm upset with you. Like she did she has it in her.
She has it in her. I think it was, there's the door, Shannon Bedore. And then she was like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
How many times do you think Alexis said there's a door, Shannon Bedore, before that scene?
She was Valerie Cherish in the comeback. Like whenever she's in, she's like
Valerie Cherish.
You know what I mean? Like there's the door, Shannon Bedore.
But there's the door.
There's the door, Shannon Bedore.
There's the door, Shannon Bedore?
Yeah, there's the door, Shannon Bedore.
I talk about Valerie Cherish so often on this podcast. If you don't know what we're talking about, go watch The Comeback. It's on HBO or Max or whatever. And there's this one scene where she has this best show ever. But there's this one scene where there's a hidden camera in her kitchen and she opens up to get a chocolate cake and she's eating a chocolate cake, reading a line over and over. I don't need to see that. I don't want to see that or whatever.
I don't want to see that. If you go back and watch that show, it is the most ahead of its time thing ever. And even just like from a reality TV standpoint, like the commentary on reality television that they were doing while reality television was like first happening was
phenomenal.
We will never have anything like it ever again.
Phenomenal. Okay, listen, I sadly have to go pick up my kids from the bus stop. They have an early dismissal today. So if I don't go, they're going to be sitting alone. Those poor children. You know, I really don't want to be
Unlike
on
Tyler
mute.
from Love is Blind, you need to take care of your children.
I am not Tyler. I actually take accountability for my offspring. I love you, Chris. This was
love
so
you.
fun. We
So
have to
fun.
do it again. How can people find you?
Better. I will come back with better internet. I promise you.
It's going to be a requirement.
It will. No, I will. I will upgrade my internet for this. You can find me at the Chris DeRosa, and you can find the show at Fixing Famous People on Instagram, and the show is Fixing Famous People anywhere you find podcasts. And go run, do not walk to Blake Lively episode with.
That was so fun.
Herself.
You are amazing, Chris. You guys, thank you so much. Have an amazing Friday. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And also enjoy your holiday, those that are celebrating. And if not, enjoy, I guess, I don't know, Travis Kelce playing football on Sunday.
Friday.
Oh, it's Friday.
TGIF.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
You guys have a great one. Chris, thank you so much. I'll talk to you
Thank
guys
you.
soon.